If you have been watching the mainstream news today, chances are you did not hear about Austin Metcalf, a 17-year-old that had such a bright future ahead of him, an exceptional student, but an even better football player that was tragically murdered at a track meet by a low impulse control thug that most likely was raised by horrible parents. Now, the reason this story is not getting more media coverage is because Austin Metcalf looks like this. And the boy who killed him, well, I don't even have to show you a picture of him. You could probably guess what he looks like. One of the usual suspects, which is why the mainstream media is not really covering this story, because this story does not align with the narrative that the mainstream media has been pushing for years. The narrative that they're now pushing on Netflix with the new show Adolescence, where they pretend like young white kids are the number one threat, when we all know who is really carrying out most of the violent crimes in cities across America, and yes, even in the UK. Spoiler alert, it's not little white kids. But that's the narrative that they like to run with. And sure, I would like to be able to cover these stories without mentioning race at all. But that's not how the mainstream media operates. Because if this story was the other way around, it would be making every headline. It would be on every newspaper. Every media outlet would be covering it. And the first thing they would acknowledge is race. So what we cannot do is simply ignore the racial aspect to this story. Because if you have eyes, if you have ears, if you pay attention to the news, then you know that there is a recurring pattern of violence within a certain culture. Violence that unfortunately claimed the life of Austin Metcalf. We could try to sit here and shy away from that. We could sit here and shy away from the conversation that needs to be had, but that isn't helping anyone. The only thing that's going to do is result in more Austin Metcalf-like stories, where you hear of other young white kids getting murdered and getting killed as the stories get brushed under the rug by the mainstream media. But the saddest part about this story for me is that Austin Metcalf had a twin brother, and he died in his twin brother's arms over a simple altercation or argument about seating or something stupid. Okay? Austin Metcalf was stabbed in the chest at a school track meet over something as stupid as, oh, you're sitting in the wrong place, or you're sitting in the wrong place. But like I said, low impulse control. But before I go even further, let's go ahead and roll this news clip. Let's learn a little bit more about what happened here, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
The sad part about it is he died in his brother's arms. They were twins, identical twins. And his brother was holding on to him, trying to make it stop bleeding. And he died in his brother's arms. And I rushed up there, and I saw him on the gurney. And I could tell. They said he wasn't breathing. I could see all the blood. I saw where the wound was.
Understandably still in shock, Jeff Metcalf says a precious memory was made just this past weekend when he took his twin boys hunting. That's where Austin got his first hog. Well, this morning at around 10, he rushed here to Kirkendall Stadium, where the Memorial High School student athlete suffered a fatal stab wound during this track and field meet. Frisco police say a fight broke out between two students when one stabbed the other. More than 100 student athletes were participating in this meet. Fortunately, they were safely evacuated. Police arrested the suspect. He is 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony of Frisco. He is now charged with murder. Some students, unfortunately, witnessed this deadly encounter and have been interviewed by police. Despite life-saving efforts, the 16-year-old victim died at the hospital. Austin, his father shares, was born 2 minutes before his twin brother Hunter, the two inseparable, as you can imagine. Austin is being remembered as an outstanding student at Memorial High, his football team's MVP, and a young man of faith. His father grappling with loss and forgiveness.
I'm not trying to judge, but what kind of parents did this child have? what was he taught? He brought a knife to a track meet, and he murdered my son by stabbing him in the heart. The guy was in the wrong place. They asked him to move, and he bowed up. This is murder. I don't know. I know they have someone in custody.
Yeah, we do.
And you know what? I already forgive this person.
Already?
Already. God takes care of things. God's going to take care of me. God's going to take care of my family.
The victim's father says these two teens did not know each other before today. We do need to stress that police have not said what they believe led up to this deadly encounter. There is a prayer vigil tonight at 7 p.m. at Hope Fellowship Church right here.
My son watched his brother die in his arms.
17-year-old Austin Metcalf was voted MVP of the Frisco Memorial High School varsity football team. The linebacker held a near-perfect GPA and was in the National Honor Society.
He was on the right track. He was doing everything right. I was so proud.
Jeff Metcalf never imagined that his son's future would be cut short.
I'm still in shock.
Wednesday morning, Austin Metcalf was at a District 11 5A track meet at Kirkendall Stadium. Around 10 a.m., Frisco police say 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest after some sort of fight. Jeff Metcalf says it was Austin's twin brother, Hunter Metcalf, who tried to save him.
And his brother was holding him, trying to hold the blood in, and he passed. My son watched his brother die in his arms.
It's unclear how Anthony got the knife into the meat or what exactly led up to the fight. Anthony is now facing first-degree murder charges, and Jeff Metcalf
It was the best weekend ever.
is only left with memories.
I was able to watch and be blessed so much. But having both my sons are amazing.
When Jeff Metcalf was diagnosed with cancer 9 years ago, his boys were his strength. Now cancer-free, it's his faith that's keeping him strong.
And when I kissed his forehead today, as his body was cold, I ran my fingers through his hair. I told him it's not goodbye. It's see you later. I'll join you at some point too, son. You just beat me to this place.
Wednesday night, the family's church opened its doors for the community to gather for a prayer vigil to honor a young man whose life touched so many.
But I know he's with the Lord. And I take comfort and peace in that.
In our conversation, Jeff mentioned that he hopes his son's death brings changes to security so no other parent has to go through this. Memorial High School will honor Austin tomorrow during second period, and counselors will be available for any students or staff who need it.
I am sick and tired of seeing stories like this one every day. And when I say every day, that is not a figure of speech. No, I literally mean every single day. I come across multiple stories like this one every single day. And I feel a rant coming on, so before I even get into that rant, people often ask me how can they support the channel. The answer to that question is simple. Hit that like button. It's totally free. It takes 1 second. Hit that like button right now. Drop a comment in the comment section and join the conversation. That helps the channel out a lot. But if you want to take the support one step further, you could always drop a super thanks or send a Cash App. It's always greatly appreciated. But let me go ahead and get into this rant because, like I said, I am so sick and tired of seeing stories like this every day. If you're on social media, if you're on the internet, then you see this stuff every single day. For how long are we going to sit here and be okay with our kids being stabbed, being jumped, being robbed? Because you could go online, you could see dozens and dozens of new videos every day. Oh, there goes a white kid getting jumped at the bus stop. There goes an old Asian lady getting punched and robbed after she gets off the subway. Oh, there goes an Indian man getting punched and robbed at the gas station. You know, it's just so much. But no one wants to acknowledge the elephant in the room, which is that there is one group of people who is committing the majority of these crimes. And that doesn't mean that every person in this group is a bad person, because that's not the case at all. But if we're going to sit here and shy away from the problem, then the problem can never be nipped in the bud. Okay? This problem with violence in the black community, it does not just affect white people. It doesn't just affect Spanish people. It doesn't just affect Indian or Asian or whatever. It also affects black people, because they're killing each other at alarming rates. Do you know how many black men I went to school with growing up that are no longer here? Like, literally, the majority of people I went to school with growing up are all dead, because they've all been shot and killed. Or the ones who are alive, they've been shot multiple times and they're lucky to be here. There is a problem with violence in this community. And if you acknowledge it, oh, you're racist or you're a bad person. No, you're just acknowledging reality. And the reality is that I'm getting sick and tired, and you should be as well, of seeing stories like this one. How many young kids with a bright future ahead of them need to get stabbed in the chest at track meets before people acknowledge the elephant in the room, before people start calling out the problem so we could fix this problem? And I think there could be some simple fixes to this problem. For one, the nuclear family. When we got rid of the nuclear family, when we got fathers out of the household, that did not work out well. And we're seeing the results of that. And there's conversations that we could get into, about how to fix and tackle some of these problems. But I don't think we could really start talking about the solution yet, because most people don't want to acknowledge the problem yet. And that's why we're here all the time talking about stories like this one. And I say all the time, most of the time I just go right past these stories. I scroll right past a lot of these stories, because I think a lot of us here in America, I don't know about other places, but I think abroad as well, we've been conditioned to just accept this behavior. Oh, another massive fight at the mall, people shooting at the mall. Well, okay, whatever. Oh, a favorite bar got shut down because they're shooting at the bar. Massive riots here. It's like we've grown to just accept this behavior instead of pointing out the behavior and acknowledging that it's wrong. Which is why so many people are just like, act like it's no big deal. Just another white kid murdered for no reason. And it's really sad to see. Because, of course, people will always say, what if the shoe was on the other foot? If this was the other way around, there would be rioting, there would be protests, there would be all of this. I am tired of, what if it was the other way around? Every time I see that, it just makes me disgusted. I am tired of, what if it was the other way around? What if? Yeah, we know what it would be like if it was the other way around. I'm tired of just acknowledging that. What if it was the other way around? Let's actually talk about the problem. Instead of saying, what if it was the other way around? Maybe you should make more of an uproar about what is happening to young kids, and not just young kids, to everyone in this country. And when I say everyone, I quite literally mean everyone in this country. You think that black people don't see these issues? They experience these issues firsthand more than anyone else. The problem is, just like everyone else is kind of scared to point out the issue, black people are kind of in the same position. Because if they acknowledge the problems within their own community, like the problems with violence and killing each other and stuff like that, if they acknowledge those issues, they will be shunned. They will be excommunicated. They will be labeled a coon that is tap dancing for the white man and stuff like that. So understand that there are large numbers of the black community that are calling this stuff out as well, or at least they try to before they get shut down. And I think that all of us of all races, we need to stop shying away from this conversation, because it's not doing anyone any favors to shy away from this conversation. I'm at the point now in my life where I don't care what other people think. I don't care what other people feel. People are going to think and feel all types of things about this video. All I care about is reality and acknowledging reality. I did not create this reality. You didn't create this reality. But we can at least acknowledge what's happening here. Listen, if it was a group of squirrels that were causing most of the violent crimes in America, I would say, hey, squirrels have a problem with violence in their community. Now, we know it's not squirrels. We know who it is. But you guys get what I'm saying here. It's not like I'm pointing, a certain group of people out because I have ill will in my heart against them. It's actually the exact opposite. But at the same time, I'm not going to ignore reality simply to protect people's feelings. Okay? Do you think that Carmelo Anthony, not the basketball player, but the young murderer who killed Austin Metcalf, do you think Carmelo was worried about people's feelings when he plunged a cold blade into Austin Metcalf's heart? Do you think he cared about people's feelings? Do you think these people are going to care about your grandma's feelings when they're beating her over the head and stealing her purse? No. So the time for being sensitive and stuff like that, that time has long passed. And if you're someone who's still on that vibe, then go ahead and take it somewhere else. Because I'm about finding solutions to this problem, but first acknowledging the problem. Because if we can't acknowledge the issue, we cannot get anywhere at all. And I already see people online saying, don't make it a race thing, don't make it a race thing. I'm not making it a race thing. I don't think other people are making it a race thing by acknowledging reality. And the reality is, I can guarantee you that Carmelo Anthony's family, they're going to play the race card. Give it a couple of days. Carmelo Anthony's friends are already online, taunting people who went to Austin's school, making fun of the fact that Austin is dead. So, it's to be expected. It's a part of their culture to make fun of young men when they get murdered and talk about how they're smoking them in packs and all this other weird stuff. If you know, you know. But the race card is going to be pulled. I can tell you right now, Carmelo Anthony's family, they're about 2 days out from pretending to be victims themselves. Oh my God, we've gotten so much hate. And oh my God, our kid was this. I'm surprised that we even saw a picture of Carmelo and how he looks now. Usually they'll show you like a 5th grade graduation picture. So I'm surprised that we even get to see what Carmelo actually looks like. But look, I could rant all day about this. I already know I'm going to make more videos about this story in the future. But for now, I think that you could sum up this story by simply looking at the last social media post of these two individuals. For one, we have the last social media post of the killer. And then we have the last social media post of Austin Metcalf. Faith that God got me, and my work will pay off. So all in all, when you look at this story and you really want to sum things up, you look no further than the last social media post by these two individuals, because I think it paints a very clear picture. It paints the picture that I've been trying to paint in this video. But for now, you guys let me know what you think of this down in the comments below. I'm sure some of you are angry. Let me know your thoughts below. We'll have a discussion down there. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.